Good afternoon. I call this meeting of the Michigan Public Service Commission to order at 1:30 p.m. on February 7th, 2019. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Chairman Talbert.
Present.
Commissioner Sari.
Present.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, first up we have approval of the agenda. Item number 1, I'll move approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The agenda is approved. Next, item 2, approval of the minutes from the commission meeting on January 18, 2019. Move approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The meeting minutes are approved. Item number 3, we have approval of orders on the consent agenda. And today the commission is assisted by Lisa Gold and staff.
Good afternoon. Today's consent agenda consists of 3 communication matters, 3 electric matters, and 3 gas matters that are listed on item 3 of today's agenda. The proposed orders for each of these matters have been thoroughly vetted by the Commission's technical and legal staffs and are ready for your approval.
I move adoption of all orders on the consent agenda.
I second approval of all orders on the consent agenda.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The orders are approved.
Item 4A1 is case number U17680-R, which involves an order from the Court of Appeals reversing in part and remanding in part the July 12, 2017 order in this case. The order before you directs the parties to file briefs addressing the remand in this case.
I move approval of the order in case number U17680-R.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4A2 is case number U18094, which involves a motion filed by Upper Peninsula Power Company to extend the date for filing its next application for review under the Public Utility Regulatory Policies Act of 1978 to February 12, 2019. The order before you grants the request.
I move approval of the order in case number U18094.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4A3 is case numbers U18231 et al., which involve an application by Consumers Energy Company seeking approval of its renewable energy plan and ex parte approval of a development asset acquisition agreement related to the Gratiot Farms wind project. Staff member Caitlin Buchanan is here to describe this order.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. On December 21st, 2016, Public Act 342 was signed into law and went into effect on April 21st, 2017. Among other things, Act 342 amended Michigan's 2008 energy law by increasing the renewable energy portfolio standard for the state's electric providers from 10% in 2015 to 15% in 2021, with interim compliance requirements of 12.5% in 2019 and 2020. To achieve these goals, each electric provider must have an approved renewable energy plan. Act 342 requires the Commission to review each electric provider's renewable energy plan within 1 year from the effective date of the Act. The Commission must also approve any amendment the electric provider seeks to make to its plan. The Commission must determine if the plan and its proposed amendments are reasonable and prudent and consistent with the goals of Act 342. Consumers Energy Company has filed an application requesting Commission approval to amend its current plan as follows. Consumers seeks to add 525 megawatts of new wind facilities and 100 megawatts of new solar facilities, update the amount of renewable energy credits expected to be available based on the actual and forecasted production of certain generators, and summarize the amount of credits expected to be received to meet renewable energy goals. Also, to update the transfer price schedule, to modify the incremental cost of compliance and the annual revenue requirement necessary to maintain a minimum regulatory liability of 0, update and provide a detailed resource plan and discuss research and development expenditures, and to extend the Solar Gardens program, which is a voluntary green pricing program. The cost of this modified plan is approximately $3.5 billion, which is an increase from the $2.8 billion cost of Consumers' current plan. The order before you in case number U18231 approves, in part, the proposed amendments to Consumers' Renewable Energy Plan, including the addition of 525 megawatts of new wind facilities at the cost estimated by the company. The changes to the plan would not result in a renewable energy surcharge increase, which is currently set at $0. At this time, the Commission reserves determination regarding Consumers' proposal to add 100 megawatts of new solar facilities to its generation portfolio. Instead, the Commission shall address the proposed solar addition and Consumers' Integrated Resource Plan proceeding, case number U20165, where it can be evaluated within the context of Consumers' entire resource portfolio and alongside the company's related Public Utility Regulatory Policies Act of 1978 issues. The expected cost of the plan approved today in this order will be reconciled with the actual costs incurred in the company's next renewable energy reconciliation proceeding. Case number U15805, which is being addressed in tandem with case number U18231, involves an application by Consumer seeking ex parte approval of a development asset acquisition agreement for the Gratiot Farms wind project at a projected levelized cost of energy of $46 per megawatt hour for up to 150 megawatts of wind capacity. The order before you approves the contract, finding that the projected cost per megawatt hour under the contract is less than what was approved in Consumers' Renewable Energy Plan for wind facilities, and that the contract is consistent with the company's plan. The recovery of the costs associated with Gratiot Farms will be addressed if or when the company elects to exercise its option under the agreement. The order also finds that ex parte review and approval is appropriate, as the contract will not affect rates or rate schedules, resulting in an increase in the cost of service to customers. Thank you.
Thank you. I move approval of the order in case number U18231 et al.
I second the motion for approval of the orders.
Okay. I would just add on the solar, the Commission had significant concerns with the pricing that was proposed. We realized the application was filed earlier, but given, where we're seeing the technology trends going and costs, it was, significant concern to us and warranting not approving it as part of the plan at this time. And with that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved. Thank you.
Item 4A4 is case number U18403, which involves an application filed by DTE Electric Company for authority to implement a power supply cost recovery plan for 2018 metered jurisdictional sales of electricity. The order before you approves the utility's PSCR plan and billing factor, accepts its 5-year forecast as specified in the order, and cautions the company that it must demonstrate in the reconciliation proceeding that its actual sorbent costs are reasonable and prudent based on a refreshed net present value analysis.
All those in favor? I move adoption of the order in case number U18403.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved. We're still getting, at least I am, getting used to this sequence.
Thank you for your leadership.
Hopefully it won't be for long. All right.
Item 4A5 is case number U18461, which involves a motion filed by Northern States Power Company requesting an extension for the filing of its multi-state integrated resource plan under MCL 466T. The order before you approves the request.
I move adoption of the order in case number U18461.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4A6 is case number U20362, which involves a motion by Wisconsin Electric Power Company requesting that the Commission issue an order waiving the Integrated Resource Plan filing requirements or determining that the company is relieved from complying with the Integrated Resource Planning requirements set forth in MCL 466T subsection 3. The order before you grants the company's motion, finding that Wisconsin Electric Power Company is relieved from complying with the Integrated Resource Plan requirements of MCL 466T subsection 3.
I move adoption of the order in case number U20362.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4A7 is case numbers U20365 et al., which assigns docket numbers and filing dates for energy waste reduction reconciliation proceedings and annual reports.
I move adoption of the orders in case case number U20365 et al.
I second approval of particularly the et al., since I think there's some 75 orders that are contained
Right.
here.
Karen Gould will be busy, for sure. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4A8 is case numbers U20371 et al., which assigns docket numbers for the filing of energy waste reduction biennial plans for 2019.
I move approval of the order in case number U20371 et al.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4B1 is case number U18412, which involves an application by DTE Gas Company requesting approval of a gas cost recovery plan, 5-year forecast, and authorization of gas cost recovery factors for the 12-month period ending March 31, 2019. The order before you approves the request with modifications.
I move adoption of the order in case number U18412.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4B2 is case number U20198, which involves an application by ZFS Ithaca LLC requesting a certificate of public convenience and necessity to construct and operate the West Yankee Pipeline in Gratiot County. The order before you approves a settlement agreement resolving all issues in the case and makes the required agency findings regarding the pipeline's environmental impact.
I move adoption of the order in case number U20198.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4B3 is case number U20280, which involves an ex parte application by DTE Gas Company requesting authority to amend its Customer Attachment Program C8 tariff. The order before you approves the request.
Move adoption of the order in case number U20280.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4B4 is case number U20351, which involves an ex parte application by Northern States Power Company for approval to revise its C8 Customer Attachment Program tariff. The order before you approves the application.
I move approval of case number U20351.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4B5 is case number U20463, which involves a matter on the Commission's own motion to commence an investigation of a fire at Consumers Energy Company's Ray Compressor Station in Macomb County. Staff member Dave Chisla is here to describe this order.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioner. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of docket U20463. As you are aware, on January 30th, 2019, at approximately 10:30 a.m., Consumers Energy experienced a fire at their Ray compressor station in the middle of a severe weather event where the company could ill afford to have their facility removed from service. The company's Ray compressor station and storage field during peak winter periods is responsible for providing more than half of the company's natural gas throughput. To that end, the company has invested approximately $240 million into the Ray compressor station since 2010, including the construction of an additional plant at the compressor station, Plant 3, which became operational in 2013. Consequences for Ray compressor station being out of service for the coldest temperatures that some parts of Michigan have experienced in decades were severe and could have led to widespread natural gas outages and even death for some customers who would not have been able to travel to alternative locations or warming centers. Through swift action and coordination between various arms of government, including the Governor's Office, Michigan Public Service Commission, Michigan State Police, Michigan Agency for Energy, and the company itself, Michigan residents were notified of the dire situation and calls for action issued that included requests for reduction in natural gas usage, such as reducing thermostats to 65 degrees, and, in the case of commercial and industrial customers, curtailing usage. Such decisions were not taken lightly, but ultimately determined to be warranted based on potential consequences of inaction. Additionally, other utilities, both natural gas and electric, assisted the company by attempting to shed some of their current loads to be able to assist consumers. Notable contributions were made by General Motors, Ford, FCA by halting some of their production at some of their manufacturing plants. The aligning of the unprecedented weather event with the shortage of gas supply and consumer system created an environment that could have been deadly for a significant number of Michigan residents. And it is to this end that the order before you is directing the company to conduct an investigation into the events that have occurred. Specifically, the order mandates that the company investigate the following: origin and cause of the fire, the company's response to the fire, the company's implementation of curtailment procedures, whether there is an indication of the company's failure to maintain or comply with gas standards, the company's response to the gas shortage, the reduction in gas usage from each customer class, coordination with the state of Michigan, local and emergency officials, actions to ensure physical and cyber security before, during, and after the event, and the total cost of the incident. This investigation is to be concluded with the filing of a report on April 7, 2019, whereupon the Commission staff will have until May 8, 2019 to file a response to the report completed by the company. Additionally, staff initiated an on-site investigation the day of the incident and will be conducting its own independent investigation, which will result in a report that will be inclusive of a detailed root cause analysis and will be submitted to the company and the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration upon a later date. The report will also include findings of noncompliance where appropriate and recommendations to prevent reoccurrence. The severe consequences of this emergency were narrowly averted through the joint sacrifice of many Michigan residents. As such, it would be remiss if we did not take this opportunity to ensure that the company's actions were appropriate, timely, and in the best interest of all the customers that it is responsible to serve. Thank you for your time and consideration of this matter.
Thank you. I move adoption of the order in case number U20463.
Second.
Sorry, did you want to make some remarks?
Thank you, Madam Chair. A message in order from the Public Service Commission stating our concerns about natural gas safety programs is probably redundant and to some degree likely repetitive. I've made this speech before. But the Commission will never believe that natural gas safety messages are boring and tedious. Commission staff will never accept a utility's less than total commitment to safety. Events of the past week, let alone the past year, have significantly heightened the Commission's safety concerns with Michigan's gas utilities. The outcome of the fire at the Ray Compressor Station ended without serious adverse consequences. No injuries, no off-site property damage, no residential gas customers were shut off. A potentially serious outcome never occurred because of the effective on-site response, strong industry collaboration, successful communications, and collaborative emergency services actions. But the Ray fire and the gas explosion Sunday in a Pontiac neighborhood and a contractor dig-in of a gas line over the weekend, in front of a Warren business, all contribute to the Commission's increasing serious concern that there needs to be more dedicated emphasis by gas utilities in the state on developing and implementing strong safety programs. The Commission has an ongoing investigation into why contractors in December cut into a natural gas line under the Detroit River that delivered natural gas to Belle Isle. The island is now served by a temporary gas line running along the pedestrian sidewalk on MacArthur Bridge. Our safety investigators are completing their analysis of an explosion last year of a high-pressure gas line in Orion Township. We recently issued a non-compliance letter regarding improper welds at a Milford gas facility. Our staff has numerous additional ongoing safety inspections and investigations, some relatively minor, but all incidents had the potential consequence of property damage and injury to workers and the public. The Commission's investigation into the Ray Compressor Station fire will be a comprehensive, thorough examination of gas utility operations with an emphasis on safety programs, facility operations, training, and emergency responses. We will emphasize there is no acceptable compromise for safety programs, no allowable shortcuts, no quick fixes, no cutting corners in the design, construction, and operation of natural gas systems. It is the Commission's goal, and we expect that it's a goal that's shared by all Michigan gas utility companies, to develop and implement a world-class, nationally respected natural gas safety management system. I hope I don't have to make this speech again. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Sari, and for your leadership on gas safety at the state and national levels. Also, thank you, Dave, for the work by you and your team in the gas operations section to respond to the fire and to undertake your technical investigation into the fire causes and responses. Your team works day in and day out, sometimes on weekends, nights, holidays, to ensure the safety of our natural gas system. We appreciate Kyle and Nathan being on site at the Ray Compressor Station beginning last Wednesday to examine conditions while many of us were at home with the state buildings closed. I also want to thank Alex Marisi and the team at the Michigan Agency for Energy for their expertise and coordination at the State Emergency Operations Center. Due to the impact of the fire and the role that large customers and others had to stabilize the system, this formal investigation is important and extensive, as you've outlined in your presentation and Commissioner Sari has reinforced from a public safety standpoint. We look forward to learning more from this event and to ensure safe, reliable energy service for Michiganders. With that, I move for a vote on the order in case U20463. All
Aye.
those in favor? Aye. The order is approved. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Item 4B6 is case number U20464, which involves a matter on the Commission's own motion to issue a report on the state's supply and deliverability of natural gas, electricity, and propane, and contingency planning, as requested by the Governor. Staff member Pat Poley is here to describe this order.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Last week's polar vortex extreme weather conditions resulted in the need for Consumers Energy and DTE Electric to ask electric customers to curtail electricity usage. In addition, Consumers Energy had asked gas customers to reduce usage after a fire at its largest natural gas storage facility. These events prompted Governor Gretchen Whitmer to send a letter requesting the MPSC to undertake a statewide review of the supply, engineering, and deliverability of natural gas, electricity, and propane systems, as well as contingency planning related to these systems. Specifically, the Commission is called on to review the following: the Commission's current infrastructure planning criteria and methodologies around distribution, transmission, and generation, including contingency plans, existing planning processes for electric and natural gas utilities and best practices for integration, linkages and gaps between real-time operational reliability and infrastructure planning for long-term reliability, demand response and mutual assistance protocols by natural gas utilities and opportunities for enhancement, contingency risk, interdependencies, and vulnerabilities of supply and or delivery disruptions from physical and or cybersecurity threats, as well as a rough cost estimate of potential enhancements, adequacy of Commission rules addressing customer safety and reliability and resiliency and utility notifications, evaluation of existing gas efficiency programs, and identification of areas or types of systems most at risk. After this assessment, the Commission is required to complete an initial report that evaluates if the systems are adequate to account for changing system conditions and extreme weather events, and identify recommendations to mitigate the risk and ensure safe, reliable energy. Upon the final report, the Commission should direct the utilities to take appropriate action to address any shortfalls highlighted in the report, including but not limited to recommendations around changes to energy planning criteria and approaches, regulatory review, and proposed oversight improvements. Today's order in case U-20464 directs Commission staff to conduct a review of the state's supply, engineering, and deliverability of natural gas, electricity, and propane, and to assist the Commission in developing an initial report to be filed in the docket on July 1st, 2019. Thereafter, the following examination of that initial report, the Commission will issue a final report by September 13th, 2019. To this end, the Commission will create a web page and email listserv to facilitate engagement by interested stakeholders and will post a draft report outline for stakeholder feedback by Tuesday, February 12th, with comments due by Tuesday, February 19th. Following feedback, the Commission will issue the final outline that will be used as the scope for energy assessment by March 5th, 2019. Further, the Commission intends to allow for public comments on the draft report after it's filed in this docket. Comments on the draft outline are hoped to be limited to the task at hand and should identify any essential information that the draft outline fails to include or contemplate or areas that warrant clarification. Thank you.
Thank you. I move adoption of the order in case number U-20464.
Second.
Commissioner, sorry, any comments on this?
I would only comment that the outlook and the approach that the commission is taking is going to be comprehensive. No corners are going to be cut, transparent. We're going to have a very robust public input on this one, and I think the leadership and chair that Pat and her group have on this is going to be critical, and I'm confident that it's going to be successful because we have a major consideration for where Michigan's energy future is going, and this is an opportunity that we can be very clearly in defining that to the new governor and the new administration. Thank you, Pat, for voluntolding that you're going to head up this organization.
Thank you.
All right. I have some comments, prepared remarks. The events of last week with extreme cold and high energy demand combined with the fire at the Ray Compressor Station reinforce the importance of what we do at the Public Service Commission to ensure safe, reliable, and affordable energy services. Just yesterday, we were facing the possibility of power outages for over 500,000 Michiganders due to ice. Fortunately, the ice was not as severe as predicted, but as we sit here today, there are over 100,000 customers on the west side of the state without power due to additional ice accumulation and winds today. And it was less than a year ago that approximately 1 million customers were without power due to ice and hurricane-level winds swept through the state during different events. Our energy supplies are changing, and extreme weather can disrupt service to customers. Therefore, the statewide energy assessment called for by Governor Whitmer is timely and important. With the leadership of Pat Poley and the team she is assembling at the Public Service Commission, as well as input from industry and other stakeholders, we will examine vulnerabilities and improvements to energy planning, operational practices, and emergency response protocols to mitigate the risk of major events that could compromise safe, reliable energy service to Michigan's 10 million residents. The Commission is committed to ensuring our energy supplies can withstand major events, whether that's triggered by extreme weather, cyber security attacks, equipment failure, or human error. The 2003 blackout was the source of it was human error. Thank you, Pat, for being voluntold and taking on this important assignment. Your engineering expertise in the electric and gas industries and leadership and organizational skills here at the Commission make you an obvious candidate, and we appreciate your commitment to public service. I know you'll have a great team to support you, and we want to support you in any way we can. With that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved. Thanks. That concludes our orders for today. Next up, we have item 5, public comments. I do have a card from Ms. Valerie Brader, if she wants to come forward. 2 minutes. No, you can have 3.
Thank you.
I yield my 2 minutes also.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Valerie Brader with Riven Oak Consulting. I'm here today on behalf of a Michigan resident, Chris Holesbeek, whose home was so close to the more recent explosion that his house shook when it occurred.
And he has a great deal of concern because a natural gas compressor, a new one, is proposed to be put across the street from his home by Blue Water Gas Storage. The number of concerns that he has really deal with safety, much as Commissioner Sari was discussing in the design and construction of this facility. It is the only densely populated, in a residential sense, place within a mile of the pipeline. So he has a lot of concerns that the choice to put the compressor station is not near other compressor stations or near a golf course, but across the street, again, from the only residential area. This company has also had a history of difficulty at similar facilities, including in 2014, a compressor explosion. The company at a public meeting has indicated that they intend to have this built this fall. They have suggested sort of bracketing it with trees, pine trees. He's very concerned about the potential that that would create further explosions were those trees to be dry, as opposed to earthen berms. The Commission's also well aware of other cases in which cars have managed to go around barriers that were not solid to create additional both public safety incidents with gas and for the neighborhoods as well as the larger system. So as the Commission looks at what to do following the compressor fire at Ray, he urges that the design and construction of facilities that are already there be placed, first of all, that the locations be closely considered, and secondly, that the design be as safety conscious as possible, not trees, but earthen berms, but ideally not where children would be playing across the street, but in places where there would be less of an impact should an incident occur, and urges the Public Service Commission to make it clear how residents can express their views to get this done. There were attempts by residents to go to FERC, who were told it's really the state. There were discussions with state legislators who said, well, I think it's really someone else. You know, also, as people are looking for how do I, when something is coming in, make it safer, frankly, make it so they don't have to hire people like me, but they could actually, be able to get those concerns heard. We do expect that more residents from this neighborhood, as well as Chris himself, will be here to address your next meeting. He's traveling, so asked me to do so, but very concerned about the new gas compressor, the designs that were put forward at the public meeting, and urges the Commission to help make this case that the location should be reconsidered, but that if a new compressor is in fact needed in this location, that the safety measures taken in its design and construction be much more than currently proposed. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will take this under advisement and work with our gas operations staff to check on the status. Thank you.
Your timing was excellent.
Any other public comments at this time? None. That concludes today's meeting. Our next commission meeting is scheduled for February 21st at 1:30 p.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. So moved.
Second. The meeting, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The meeting is adjourned.